That's an uncomfortable chair.
All right, good morning. We are
Good morning.
board and we are reconvening. We're at the police barracks on Monday, January 9th, 2023. It is 9:01 a.m. But the staff at the barracks, please introduce yourself to the record.
Lieutenant Jeremy Burns, Executive Officer.
By yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And we have one case, I believe, at your facility. So would Mr. Cozy, please introduce yourself. Tell us your name and your DOC number.
My name is Christopher Cozy. My DOC number is 7527
Repeat the DOC number. I missed part of it.
567527.
All right, yes, sir. That's what I have. Mr. Cozy, my name is Cheryl Renatza. Serving as chairman this morning, let me introduce my colleagues to you. To my far left is Mrs. Bonnie Jackson. My immediate left, Mr. Alvin Roche. My immediate right is Mr. Tony Mirabella. And his right is Mr. Keith Freeman. I'm going to read some identifying information into the record, after which I'll ask you to verify it. And then I'll turn it over to Mr. Mirabella because your case has been assigned to him. He'll take the lead on the interview. First, I'd like to recognize some folks who have joined us this morning. We have Gilda Landry, your mother. We have Walter Landry, your dad. Maria Cozy Brown, your cousin, and Shalyn Cozy, your daughter. Your dad, cousin, and daughter will be speaking on your behalf. We also have joining us a representative from the DA's office in Jefferson Parish who also wants to speak, and we'll call on him at the appropriate time. So, Mr. Cozy, you're Christopher Cozy. Your DOC number, as stated, is 567527. You're seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in Jefferson Parish in April of 2010 for armed robbery, 4 counts, attempted armed robbery, 1 count. Currently serving 25 years on each of those counts running concurrently. We have a full term date, which is in 2031. Does all that sound accurate, Mr. Cozy?
My full term date is 2034.
34. Thank you. I'll make that note. Okay. Mr. Marabella, would you answer Mr. Marabella's question?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Cozy, my name is Tony Marabella. The case was assigned to me, so I'm going to begin the interview process. Okay.
Yes, sir.
How old are you, Mr. Cozy?
I'm 39 years old, sir.
And how long have you been in prison on these charges?
I've been in prison 13 years and 5 months.
And how long have you been at the police barracks?
I've been at the police barracks since September of this year. Well, of last year.
Okay. Yeah, we're in a new year. We keep getting that. Tell me a little bit about, you've been in 13 years. So what were you, 20, 26, 25 when this happened?
I was 25 when I committed the crimes.
Tell me who Christopher Cozy was at 25 years old committing these armed robberies. Tell me what was going on.
Christopher Cozy was,
Did you have a job?
no, sir, I did not have a job.
Tell me about you. Tell me who you were then.
I was an unemployed, uneducated, unskilled individual who had a lot of responsibilities and no means of providing. And I was in a desperate state and committed a stupid decision.
What were your responsibilities? You said you had a lot of responsibilities. What were your responsibilities?
I had my daughter, my mother, living expenses, just everyday life.
How far had you gone in school at that point?
I committed 12 grades, but by me being in special education, all I got was a certificate of completion, not a diploma. So I came into prison reading at below a 3rd grade level.
Tell me, I'm getting mixed signals from reading your file about drug and alcohol use. So you tell me about drug use. Did you use drugs back then?
Yes, sir, I did use drugs.
Okay, when did you start using drugs?
I used drugs most of my adult life while I was on the street.
Okay, when did you start?
I started around the age of 16.
And what did you start using?
I started out using marijuana,
What did you progress to?
ecstasy, and alcohol.
How often were you using marijuana, ecstasy, or alcohol during that time?
On a daily basis.
How come you didn't have a job?
I had lost my job months prior. I was working for Jefferson Parish Water Department, and I had lost my job because of the decision that I had made during Hurricane Gustav to take my family out of town. And my job required me to stay because by me working for the water department, we was like a first responders to rectifying any water spills or any water main breakage. But I decided to take my family out of town for the storm, and because of that, when we came back, I lost my job, and I had worked throughout the following months. I jobs with temp services, but nothing solid to really maintain my lifestyle.
Let's talk about these string of robberies from May to July 2009. How did you get involved with that? It was you and someone else. So tell me what your role is and how you got involved and what you did.
Well, by me being in a desperate situation, I was like a crab in a bucket, and I was just grabbing at anything, trying to get above water. And the idea was floated, and I ran with it, and it was the worst decision I ever made in my life.
Tell me what your role was.
My role in some situations was to be the getaway driver. In other situations was to go into the establishment and hold the cashier at gunpoint and demand the money from the register.
Were you using drugs during that time?
Yes, sir.
How often?
Frequently.
A little bit about what you've done since you've been in prison. What programs have you taken that you think have really helped you?
Well, the first program that truly has helped me was victim awareness. Victim awareness allowed me to view what my actions have done to not only the people that I encountered throughout those crimes, but also how my actions affected their families, their friends, their colleagues, as well as their communities. My actions have taken away three elements that every individual deserves, which is peace, comfort, and security. And when listening to the testimony of victims and seeing how I stripped that from them, my deepest sincerity and apology goes out to them because it was wrong. My actions were wrong. They were cowardly. They were selfish, and they were very inconsiderate. And I'm truly ashamed of the person that I was. And there's not much more I can say about how stupid I was then, and how inconsiderate and selfish and disrespectful I was to the people that I came in contact with on those nights.
Tell me a little bit about what you've done in terms of substance abuse. How are you going to stay sober when you get out?
Well, my cousin Naoki Brown, who is going to school to be a doctor, has searched to find me some NAAA programs in our area. And in St. Charles Parish, he has located a church that has meetings on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday nights between the hours of 7 and 9 p.m. And upon my relief, if granted by the board, I will be participating in that program frequently to maintain my sobriety and my peace.
What programs have you taken while you've been in prison towards your sobriety?
I have taken Living in Balance, I have taken substance abuse, and I have participated on sporadic occasions in AAA.
My notes reflect that you had gone into some substance abuse treatment on a number of occasions and you quit 2 or 3 times. Why was that?
Well, as I stated about the NAAA, sometimes my job or my responsibility on campus prevented me from being able to participate fully because NAAA in most facilities is not mandatory. It's not like substance abuse or living in balance or thinking for a change or pre-release. You have to work around your work schedule. And sometimes, especially when I was in Cognito, my work schedule being a paint crew, it fluctuated. Sometimes we work during the day, sometimes at night. So I would have to schedule my NAA meetings around my work schedule. Now, as far as substance abuse and living in balance, by them being mandatory call-outs, I was able to participate and complete those programs.
Do you consider yourself to be a drug addict?
Yes, sir. I will suffer with addiction the rest of my life.
Tell me a little bit about some of the other programs you've taken. Kairos, Malachi Dads. Tell me what you've learned in those programs.
Kairos have helped me open up and not hold the burdens of life on myself. Kairos helped me receive the love of God and share my experiences with others because my testimony and how I have triumphed in many situations can not only help myself by hearing it, but also help someone else grow. Malachi Dad has helped me become a better father, a better supporter, mentally, emotionally, to my child.
And did you tell me earlier, did I remember you saying that you were in special education when you were in school?
Yes, sir. I was I had a learning disability as well as a behavior problem.
And you've been able to get your GED while you've been in prison?
Yes, sir. I've earned me a GED and a vocational trade in welding.
Let's talk about your welding. What have you done in terms of welding? I see you've got a lot of certificates in welding. Tell me what you've been able to accomplish while you've been there in terms of vocational training.
Well, I got my first degree in welding at DCI. And DCI offered me the opportunity to go to Angola and participate in a apprenticeship called the Justice Reinvented Initiative. I went there and I participated in that program for a little over a year. And then I left from that program and joined the BRCC program at LSP. And at the LSP program, I have learned craftsmanship as far as building hobbycraft barbecue pits. I learned pipe welding skills, some fitting skills, even some heliox skills, TIGGing.
Let's talk a little bit about your disciplinary record. You had 14 write-ups. Your last one was in 2015. What was that for? You remember?
That write-up was for a work offense, a Rule 28.
What was that?
I was late to work. This was around the time when I was participating in the substance abuse program. And the substance abuse program was on a Monday. It happened to be canceled. And instead of me going straight to work, once I found out it was canceled, I deviated and went to the dorm to go find something. And I got written up for being late to work.
I also see that you were involved in Toastmasters. Tell me a little bit about that.
Toastmaster is a public speaking club. The mission statement is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. That program helped me develop and participate in a different setting outside of the norm of prison. It helped me develop communication and leadership skills, also mentorship skills. It put me in a positive setting where people are not judging you negatively, but are motivating you and encouraging you to do your best, whatever it may be. And it was something that I needed at the time.
Mr. Cozy, you may have been in special education, but you today are very articulate. I appreciate the comments that you made today. Tell me in your own words, if you would, how you think you've changed. Why should I vote for you to get a pardon today?
The record will reflect that I came into prison a very young, stupid, inconsiderate, and a coward. Since my incarceration, the record also reflect that I have gained and earned the respect of the staff that oversees me. I have participated in a plethora of programs. I have earned my GED. I have earned a vocational trade in welding. I have earned a certification in public speaking as well as mentorship. The record will reflect that if you check out my disciplinary jacket from when I entered into prison to where I am at today, I have made a gigantic transition in how I act and react to life itself. I am sincerely sorry to the victims that I came in contact with on those nights, to their families, their friends, their community. I'm even sorry to the board for the burden that I have placed upon y'all with state. And I hope that this board would have mercy upon me and give me an opportunity and freedom.
Thank you. Lieutenant Burns, what can you tell us about Mr. Cozy?
Since he's only been here a few months, but from his first day here, we've had him assigned to our main headquarters building. Probably about 800-900 employees and a constant influx of members of the public all day. He works in and around the employees, the public. He does an incredible job. We've never had a single complaint, and actually, this is the most I've heard him talk since September. I mean, he's been absolutely no problem at all for us.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. That's all.
I don't see any other questions.
I have a question for Lieutenant Burns.
Yes, sir.
And you can answer this or you can't answer. He's only been there 4 months.
Yes, sir.
And normally I'd like to see when they get in the environment at the state police barracks, I'd like to see them there for a year or two to see how they handle that environment.
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with me?
Some yes and some no. I can't say 100% yes because each individual is an individual. So I'd hate to make a blanket statement. I can tell you though that he's in the public a lot, and we don't have any problems with him.
Thank you, sir.
If that answers enough.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. So we'll hear from the family members. Mr. Walter Landry. Mr. Landry, could you step up to the podium, sir?
We want you to back and forth. Basically, I am Walter Landry. I'm Christian was also said all the I'm really okay with me. I'm Christian, all the things. And first of all, very intelligent person. First of all, was never really a problem. For the most part, he checked it out pretty quick because the only one typically boy, we involved in body blow evidence, and principal do a lot of that work. He did a lot of it at a young age. And he stayed in the end of it. It's surprising me, I'm sure he's trying to be funny too, because it was really, it was scared well from us. And then when he became a father, it was a young person, and he really was concerned about his family. And somebody saying that he got into, I guess that he was trying to support his family and do what he did. And personally, I love my son. And I'm speaking for me. He deserves a chance that coming back out to be proved that he's the man and only that he is. I'll speak my rep on that. And we probably would overhaul. I'm proud to say I'm just with all. I thank you for your time. That's all I have.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We appreciate your input. Ms. Brown?
So my name is Maya People. I'm licensed in social worker. We have a point discipline, and of course, when this is what we get out, it's shocking. And why here? I mean, Christian family, I would things. From the time he did, prior to him coming in, principal was just kind of changed, and he said he was using drugs, and he has walked away from our pushing release. And in the time he's been here, I've just seen him mature so much, just from the way he's speaking today. I think that he has a very great education, in sexual ed, but he's always a hard worker. He's very gifted in art. He's also gifted with his hands. So I only hope that I am going to be supporting him with his substance abuse treatment. I already have some therapists lined up. I also know some people in the local drug court who can also support him. My husband is a trouble having, he's also going to support him with trying to get a loving God and relief. Just I'm talking to Mr. Frankie as a mentor, he is always encouraging my brother, his other cousins to not be that decision, to not do anything that he did in his group. The person today is completely different from when he came in. I think that's why I'm so cool, because he had grown so much, and he had lost so much. All of my grandparents and family, my uncles have passed away when we were there, and I think every loss significantly impacted him. Me and Chris are two old school children, so before a lot of the kids came, we were the only ones, and my grandmother, he went to prison in April, my grandmother passed away in June, which was too much for our family, and it was just very shocking. Christopher always works after he lost his daughter in one of those kids. It was great, it impacted him, really thinking, and but not he had grown. And even when he told us he was taking over the class, we were like, crazy, you know, they reading is like, no, and he's just like, I just was anointing him, giving him all everything he needed, because he just didn't think he had capability with the in English. But now we got him to see a more mature person who has learned how to be prepared for the next chapter.
Thank you. And Ms. Tracy. Can you say your first name? Tyler.
I got out of jail when I was really late. I am 16. Those 13 years were very difficult. If I could see him, I can still help me. He gave me advice. He helped me tell me figure out the other language, and he helped me with my essay for homework. I would really love it if my dad came home. I always excuse the young woman that I can say for a birthday person. You can see like college, and I can say that I can get it for myself.
Great, well done. Thank you. All right, Mr. Cozy, is there a statement you'd like to make to us? I'm sorry, let me ask Mr. The DA's office. I apologize. Mr. Myers.
Good morning, Randy Myers, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. I feel very strongly that the first step in rehabilitation is being honest about the crime that you've committed. And that's the first factor, I believe, in rehabilitation. And if one is not honest with the facts of the crime that he's committed, that he shouldn't be granted any relief. I think Mr. Cozy was extremely honest with Mr. Marabellas in response to Mr. Marabella's question about the crime. I think that goes a long way toward his rehabilitation. I was also, I liked his response regarding addiction. It shows that he's learned and I think understands about addiction, and hopefully if he continues to work at it, that he will remain sober and potentially productive. Now, having said that, we do have, this was a bad crime or crimes, a number of armed robberies. There are some victims who are not opposed. There's some victims who are opposed. However, at this time, we're going to take no position on his request. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Cozy, is there a statement you'd like to make to us before we vote?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to, first and foremost, I would like to sincerely apologize to the victims' families, their friends, their colleagues, their community, because I understand what I did, and I'm sincerely sorry. I would also like to apologize to the state for the burden I have placed upon you all's shoulders. I'd like to apologize to my family for the burden I have placed upon them for helping to raise my child and caring for my responsibilities since my incarceration. But the person that I was when I committed those crimes is not the person that sit here with you all today. I'm sincerely remorseful and emotional for the words that were spoken by my family and my city and the DA. I thank you all for this opportunity, and I hope that you all have mercy upon me on this day.
All right, well, thank you, sir. I think we are prepared to vote. Mr. Marabella will be voting first.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Cozy, I just want to say I enjoyed my interview with you. I've come a long way since you've been in prison. It's having been in the criminal justice system for a long time. We always hope that prison rehabilitates people as opposed to simply punishing. Mr. Cozy, as I sit back and listen to your story, it may be that you're going to prison is one of the best things that ever happened to you. You have really got a good education. You've got job skills. You've come a long way. You've done a lot of things. The crimes were horrible. There's no question that. And I have a lot of respect for Mr. Meyer. He always comes, and he's very straightforward and very honest, and he acknowledged some of the things that you have accomplished. You've got some good programs, you've got a good disciplinary record, you've got a good sobriety plan, good comments by lieutenant firms, you've gotten some good vocational skills, and you have some great family support. My vote today would be to recommend the governor commute your sentence to make you immediately parole eligible. I'm just one vote, so good luck to you.
Mr. Freeman?
I want to just tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this interview. You know, you speak well, very, very, very well. And I really look at you and I say, you know, prison has worked. It has worked in this case. You know, I think that you took advantage of the opportunities you had. And I think that, you know, it opened your eyes. And I don't think that's where you want to be. You need to be there with your daughter, who, by the way, you spoke very well. Appreciate y'all coming. But my vote is the same as Mr. Marabella's. I vote to commute your sentence and make you immediately parole eligible.
Mrs. Jackson?
Ms. Cody, I honestly don't understand how you would ever have been classified as being in need of special education. You might have needed some additional help, but you've always had the intellect that you have today. Very impressed with your institutional record. You've taken the program, you've got positive remarks from your supervisor at the State Police Barracks, and you have good family support. So my vote likewise is to recommend commutation with immediate parole eligibility.
George?
Good morning, Christopher.
Good morning.
Christopher, I think you should be the poster child for elections. This is probably one of the best interviews that I've witnessed in 7 years. You have good family support. Your daughter spoke very eloquently, and I was surprised that you were even helping her with the essay. So I want to say, job well done. Mr. Marabella is right. Maybe the series of decisions that you made, and you were trying to protect your family from the hurricane, but you didn't realize that you would lose your job because of that. But the series of decisions you made were bad, but the end results are good. You now have education, you have a skill, you can make a good living. I'm very proud of you. My decision is the same. Immediate parole eligibility. Good luck.
Thank you.
Cozy, I do concur with everything that's been said. Thank you for the hard work that you put in. My vote is also to make a recommendation for that your sentence be commuted to make you parole eligible. So on your behalf, we'll make that recommendation, Governor Evans. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lieutenant, I think that concludes our business. We're going to recess from the barracks at 10:23. Thanks for helping us out.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all have a good day.